Let's say you're out with some friends and you decide to go to Chili's. And once you get there, you realize, oh, it's Margarita Monday. You order a few margaritas, maybe you drink one too many, and you say something really stupid. Naturally, you're gonna wake up the next morning, you're gonna text your friends, you're gonna say, oh no, that's not me. I didn't mean to say that. This is an example of something I like to call the state-dependent self. You're saying, oh, that's not me, because there's this sober me that you like to identify with, there's maybe a drunk me that you don't want to identify with so much, and then maybe there's a high me, or whatever. Another way to think about different types of selves that you might have contained in one body is something called the temporal self. There's this self maybe that you were 10 years ago that is you because it's the same body that is continuous with the body you have now. But let's say maybe you said something dumb again with that body that you had 10 years ago, and your new body now in the present might say, oh, that's not me. That's my old body that said that. That's my old self that said that. So these are examples of people every day using common language to express different types of selves that are existing in one body. And there might be, the main self, there's a drunk self, there's a high self, maybe there's even emotionally dependent selves like the angry self or a sad self or whatever. There are different types of selves that people use to identify their self and differentiate between their different selves depending on the situation or the state that they're in. And if you think about it, there are really infinite selves that are existing on your personal timeline from moment to moment. Each moment you are changed by an experience you have, an emotion you feel, or a thought process that goes through your mind. And this means that there's essentially an infinite amount of selves that are existing within one body, whereas normally we like to think about it as one self that's existing from birth to death. This is running really counter to that. So all these ideas that we're talking about are a really good representation of common ways that we talk about the non-self, which is one of the three sort of main pillars of interbeing. With all these examples, you can sort of see that there's this true kind of core self that we like to think that exists within our body and is separate from everyone else, but it's something that is really hard to really put your finger on. You don't really know where it's located in your body, you don't know where it's located across different timelines, or even across different states of mind that you're experiencing moment to moment. When we're looking at the philosophy of interbeing, the idea of the non-self is sort of a way to replace this misunderstanding that we have about the self with a new idea, the non-self, which essentially is saying that there is a non-self or a non-separate self that we are a part of, instead of just a separate sort of corner of the world that we think we inhabit. And it's important to note that we're not just part of this ambiguous conglomeration of bodies and selves. We're really just a undivided but unique part of the continuous, non-separate self. You can think of this as one true self that's united all of the selves in the universe, and we're one part of that self, but we're also a very special and unique part of that undivided self. So just one exercise of the day, just to sort of wrap up the video. One exercise you can do when you're meditating or if you're just relaxing. Just try to think about where your true self is located in your body. A lot of people feel like their specific individual self or soul is localized behind their eyes, or some people feel like it's more in their chest area. Try to look for that kind of special you that you have in your body. And if it's hard for you to really put your finger on exactly where it is or even what it is, maybe consider embracing this non-separate self or non-self idea where you don't really need to know exactly where it is because it's really just part of a greater whole.